But let's get to the real story of the season, folks. The real story had nothing to do with Rachel choosing Bryan or Bryan's crazy mother or the fact that Rachel is the first African-American Bachelorette. Absolutely not. No, the real story sits with our runner-up, Peter. And let me just say it here for the record, right here and right now, this guy is a snake, pure and simple. Don't let this guy fool ya. Hey guys, and welcome back to another super fresh video with yours truly, the voice of reason, right here on YouTube. So let's just get right into this one, shall we? Did you guys watch this season's Bachelorette? If you did, I want to know. So put a number 1 down below if you did watch this season's Bachelorette, or if you've had enough of this show and didn't watch, put a number 2 down below. Put that number 2 down below right now if you didn't watch this season's Bachelorette. Alright, so I wouldn't normally waste a whole YouTube video on this kind of crap, but I really need to get something gravely off my chest here and now. Even amid nuclear tensions with North Korea and other trivial international matters like that, this really needs to be said, my friends. And speaking of friends, my real ones pretty much suck because they basically shake their heads and judge me for even talking about this kind of stuff. So it's landing on you by default, much like the winner of this season's Bachelorette. Besides, I'm having a bad case of creator's block and need something to rant about. So my rant today is about the final episode of the season's TV show, The Bachelorette. In a nutshell, it disappointed. Over the course of this agonizingly slow-paced 3-hour finale, Rachel Lindsay simultaneously breaks up with commitment foe Peter in the most unresolved of ways, while also starting her reality-happy new life with default winner Bryan. Plainly put, it didn't work. Fans know that usually the last hour of the final episode, the Bachelor/Bachelorette will console the broken-hearted runner-up in a very resolved and friendly way, and it's usually abundantly clear they've moved on, and there's an awkward hug, and then the lucky winner is reunited with the Bachelor or Bachelorette, and they live happily ever after. Well, usually not, but it's fun to pretend. But not this season. In the second hour, we learn that Peter and Rachel have broken up, completely spoiling the end of the show. And the weirdest part was that Rachel and Peter get into an emotionally charged argument on live television, suggesting Rachel isn't even close to being over Peter. So we enter the third hour knowing the winner is Bryan, with the realization that she probably still loves Peter. In fairness, Bryan and Rachel seem to have a very close connection from the very beginning, with Bryan stealing the first kiss, and a long and wet one, I might add. Yuck. Too much too early if you ask me, but I hate watching two people passionately kiss on TV, even in the best of times. Weird and disgusting. So why do I watch dumb shows like this, you ask? Because I have no life. But Bryan's intentions seem genuine, albeit over the top and creepy. This guy was a lovesick puppy around Rachel right from the get-go, and who can forget his crazy mother? Now, no offense to her, but she is one of the most controlling mamas I've ever seen profiled in the history of the show. But in the end, Rachel picked Bryan in spite of his crazy mama. Now, will there be sparks between Rachel and mama in the future? Oh, you know it. In fact, I petition ABC for a Rachel Bryan spin-off reality show, because I guarantee mama alone will generate a ton of content to keep viewers happy. And Bryan is such a mama's boy, I swear to God. I think Rachel will be able to handle her soon-to-be mother-in-law with ease and grace. Don't forget, guys, she's a lawyer and I think her dad's a judge. This girl is smart. You know she'll have the whole family eating out of the palm of her hands soon enough. But most importantly, and I hate myself for even thinking this, let alone sharing it on the internet. Not really. But I think Rachel wanted to pick Peter, but ended up settling for Bryan. I think she totally preferred Peter, but Peter just ended up being lame and useless. I think Rachel should have pushed a Brad Womack. I think that's his last name, if you ask me. Do you guys remember good old Brad? He was the guy that dumped everyone in the end and got asked back for a second season to ultimately choose the love of my life, Emily Maynard. I love Emily. Now, not to wander too off topic, but Emily chose Jeff, who was completely wrong for her and her equally beautiful daughter. I miss Emily, but that story has a real happy ending because Emily ultimately dumped Jeff and married a guy who looks right for the role of Mr. Emily Maynard, and I'll link their wedding video below. But let's get to the real story of the season, folks. The real story had nothing to do with Rachel choosing Bryan or Bryan's crazy mother or the fact that Rachel is the first African-American Bachelorette. Absolutely not. No, the real story sits with our runner-up, Peter. And let me just say it here for the record, right here and right now, this guy is a snake, pure and simple. Don't let this guy fool ya. Peter tried his hardest to get Rachel to break up with him so that he could be the next season's Bachelor. And luckily, Rachel saw right through it. But the problem for Peter was that he was winning. How do you convince someone to break up with you when they're falling madly in love with you and you're winning? His only option was to say he needed more time. And this narrative turned out to be his Achilles heel. Rachel saw what he was doing, not at first, but eventually as he continued to waffle his intentions became clearer and clearer. Look, this girl is one of the smartest bachelorettes to date. Now, he could have opted for the "I'm just not that into you" approach and run the risk of pissing the producers off. History shows producers hate aloof participants, but I don't think he had the heart to take this approach because I think Peter actually did like Rachel. I mean, what's not to love? She's beautiful, smart, and comes from a great family. And frankly, Peter just came across very insincere, which completely pissed off Rachel, and he ended up appearing aloof in the end anyways. Peter claimed he needed more time and that the show was forcing them to choose a ring over their real happiness. Dumb, dumb, Peter dumb. Not the thing to say when you're vying for the next season's lead role, and Rachel cut him down at the knees for saying this too. In response, Rachel said Peter isn't cut out for the show, signaling to producers that they should overlook him for the upcoming season. Of course, he apologized and groveled, but the damage was done. Now, whether this will affect the producers' decisions for the next season or not, we'll just have to wait and see. If it were me making the decisions, I'd offer him a spot on ABC's cheesy Bachelor in Paradise, because I think he's too in his head for a lead spot. Let's face it, people who make responsible decisions about their love lives make really crappy reality TV stars, and the producers know it. An online viewers' choice opinion poll puts Peter in the lead over both Eric and Dean to be the next Bachelor. Personally, my vote is with Dean, but I have a really bad track record on Bachelor picks, so it'll probably end up being Peter in the end anyway. So what do you guys think? Do you like Peter? Do you think his heart was in the right place, or was he just scamming to become the next Bachelor? Do you think Rachel settled in the end for Bryan, or do you think she's truly in love? Do you think she should have walked away in the end and chose nobody? Share your thoughts below and slap a like on this video and subscribe if you're interested in more content like this. Also click the bell for regular notifications to the Plan Eats YouTube channel. That's Plan Eats for new visitors to this small and most humble YouTube channel. And start following me today on Instagram and Twitter. The links are down below in the description box. And I look forward to seeing you right back here in a few days' time for another super fresh video.